ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Paperwork Podcast, episode 36, take 2, with your boys, Russ Pass, Peach, and Walt. So,
with Chill Boys.
Well, listen, we got it all out on the first attempt at this episode, so I'm a little frazzled by everything going on.
Yeah, you didn't even ask me what episode it is. It's crazy.
Peachy. So, just as a side note, real fast, give a little backstory. If you did not see our Facebook post, we recorded an episode, Russ Pass and I, on Tuesday morning. We got up early Tuesday morning, got the recording done. We figured majority of the matches are set. The few things that really hadn't been announced were like the tag teams for the SmackDown Tag Team Survivor Series match,
which we guessed perfectly during that episode.
We did. Also, we're doing Survivor Series and War Game predictions during this episode because I realized I didn't announce that in the beginning either. But we didn't get we got those right. And then there was like the fifth woman on the women's SmackDown match because it was a mix between like Charlotte and Mandy Rose. Thank you.
And it still hasn't been announced, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, yes. So if you watch SmackDown this week, they just threw everything in a fucking washing machine and just went fucking crazy with everything.
Yeah.
AJ Styles is no longer your WWE champion. And because of Becky getting punched in the face by Nia Jax and having a broken nose and a concussion, she is no longer in the champion versus champion match. So, Russ Pass and I talked, and we figured we had to record a new episode because so much of that episode was kind of based on two pretty big things that changed. Like, it really did change the dynamic of this pay-per-view, honestly.
Oh, absolutely. First of all, that episode, I don't think either one of us knew what we were predicting while we were doing it. So there's a lot of dead air, I guess, as you would say, in the biz. That we were just trying to think of our predictions. Plus, we'll also do the same thing. PG still has not given us a prediction. He actually texted us right now saying, what am I predicting? So I'm glad to see that PG knows what is coming on Sunday so much that he's asking us what is he predicting. But we spent a lot of time predicting Peachy's picks, too, and stuff like that. So, a lot of it was like, they haven't announced this team yet. And then we spent a good amount on the top two matches, which why wouldn't we? Ronda Rousey against Becky Lynch and Brock Lesnar against AJ Styles.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
Basically makes that whole 20-some-odd minutes that we spent talking on them to literally meaningless. So, yeah, it didn't make any sense for us to put that out there, even though Walton wanted to.
Yeah, I did. But I did keep that audio, so maybe we'll release it as a fun bonus episode at some point. Maybe even this weekend. We'll see.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe when Brock Lesnar and AJ Styles and Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey actually wrestle, we'll release that part. So, let's go through this all over again. And actually, I realized this time too, I'll actually write down our predictions because I didn't do it last time, and was just going to ask you after the episode what your predictions were again. So, oh god, this is not the correct. I was pulling up the War Games takeover and realized I did not pull up the correct card. Well, as you're doing that, I will explain. Once again, PG's not here. He was not here for the first version of episode 36, and he's not here now.
Well, just for reference and full disclosure, we forgot to text him the first time we were recording.
Yes, and as I said in the first recording, that's what happens when you have a group text and a side text.
And I realized
we're talking side text,
and I realized
actually
why we side texted, because I was texting you early in the morning when you're awake from working overnight, and so I wouldn't text Peachy to like wake him up since he sleeps later in the morning because he works late nights.
Yeah, so that's why right now Peachy is working, so he's not going missing. He's just working, and we figured we did it the first time without him. There's no big loss.
Yes, and considering he wasn't sure what we were predicting, so
he's still protesting Crown Jewel for some reason.
Yeah. So we So let's jump in and start talking about War Games.
Yes.
Man, I feel like we just talked about this.
Yeah, I know. This should go like... But I'll start it off.
Well, I was going to say, War Games...
We'll start off with the same match.
Yes, because we don't know if this match is actually going to come on the card. So usually TakeOver cards are 5 matches. Right now, there's only 4 announced matches, but the 5th match is kind of rumored and been talking about. And if it's not on this card, it's probably going to be on the recording for NXT next week. But that's Matt Riddle versus Cassius Ohno. Funny enough, and you okay, Russ Pass? You look a little confused, concerned.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Well, it snowed. For those of you that may not be in the area, it snowed, and there was a bunch of players going down the street.
Oh.
But it sounded like one person with one shovel.
Oh,
like
okay.
nonstop going down the streit, and I'm thinking, what the? Yeah.
Okay, so now that's we're leaving that in too. So, but Cassius Ohno versus Matt Riddle. So funny enough,
I will really quick say, the first time we recorded this, we were not sure. It seemed like it's been confirmed this will not be on the actual War Games card. I seen somewhere where apparently Triple H got asked about it, and they asked why is there only 4 matches. Instead of 5, and Triple H's response was, well, we did 4 matches because we wanted to give the 2 out of 3 falls match enough time, so they felt like adding another match wouldn't have given the 2 out of 3 falls match enough time, which is nice to hear that match is going to get enough time. You know, it's not going to be quick roll up, disqualification kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's nice to hear if that's the legit reason, which I'm going to assume. There's no reason for it not to be.
I think it's a mix of that and the War Games match itself.
Yeah, but they had 5 last year.
Yeah,
technically they had more guys in that War Games match. Yeah. Technically, they had 1 more. It was 3 on 3.
Yeah, they might be mixing up the rules a little bit too.
But this will most likely be recorded for the live audience for that Wednesday.
And it's also funny enough, like so they had the pre-sale party today for WrestleMania up at MetLife Stadium, right. And Cassius Ohno versus Matt Riddle was one of the matches they were going to have at the pre-show party, but the pre-show party got canceled because of all the snow in the area. So, but yeah, we're going to talk because I'm excited. I'm excited to see Matt Riddle in NXT. I mentioned this in the last episode, and I have a feeling we're going to say that a lot during this.
Yeah, I don't know that we need to. We just act like we haven't done it before, because that is going to take half of this. Just like I said before.
But no, I saw Matt Riddle wrestle at 2300 Arena at House of Hardcore against Austin Aries. He's awesome. I'm excited to see him. I think Matt Riddle wins that match. Cassius Ohno is just the old veteran that is just there basically to give other guys wins.
And I will reference something you said the first time we recorded this, purely because of stuff that has been said since then. And the one thing you said was you feel like Cassius Ohno is just going to stay down there. Like, he's just going to be down there. He's just going to be the guy that puts people over. He'll probably never make it to the main roster. He'll just be down there.
Yeah.
So recently, again, that must have been the same press conference or whatever Triple H did, where he basically said it's starting to get to the point where they may just start leaving guys in NXT.
Oh, it makes sense.
They feel like NXT is starting to become a brand on its own and not just development.
Well, did you see that they have moved? They're now using the more indie wrestling that they're affiliated with as more developmental. So,
right.
The Street Profits? Is that their name?
Yeah.
They just won the tag team titles in Evolve. Who else did it? Fabian Archer.
Somebody else.
Fabian Archer just won the Evolve Championship as well. So they're now using the the indie wrestling scenes as even more developmental, which is crazy to me. So I think that does give credence to the idea that they are basically going to treat NXT as its own brand.
He also mentioned about guys they don't have stuff for, sending them back down. which is great to hear. And I hope it's not, like I'm sure they could do a lot of it with like Fandango, Tyler Breeze, guys like that. But like I would just love for them to send like Rusev down and just have him like compete with Ciampa, like not like a permanent thing, almost like what they did with Cesaro when they sent him down. What was that?
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn.
Yep, him and
where
Sami
he
Zayn.
was on the main roster, but he also kind of had a storyline going down there too. I like that. I like that. I just hope it's,
they do it right.
I guess technically Tyler Breeze and Fandango are technically fan favorites too. Maybe it's my own personal bias of certain guys that I'd rather see down there getting the spotlight.
Yeah. I mean, they did it good with Zack Ryder. I really liked how they did it with him and Mojo Riley. Like, the Hype Bros, it just helped revitalize Ryder. So who do you got for Ono and Riddle?
Go Matt Riddle. As much I think I'm just about to do it, even though I told you not to. With Cassius Ono, if this wasn't, and see, now that this is going to be a tape thing, I could see it being Cassius Ono and being a longer thing, because their feud in front of each other has not really been that long. It's mostly been Cassius Ono talking about Riddle without really saying his name with Regal.
Regal's new toy.
So, and how many times has he said, what the thing about new toys is they break easily. But I'd like to see Ono win and then Riddle eventually come out on top. But Riddle, he's had one match on their programming so far, so I don't see him losing this. So
Riddle's got. Who do you think Peachy's going to pick?
I can't remember who we predicted for him last time, so I'll say Ono.
Yeah, I think Ono too, just because he's seen him wrestle.
Yeah.
Let's go with Johnny Gargano versus Aleister Black. Great storyline, great build up with this. A freak injury to Aleister Black, and you said this, but it pushed along all the stories in NXT with Aleister Black getting hurt. They somehow were able to do that.
God, and I'm gonna gush over this again, like I did last time. The biggest thing about it was it made everything fresh. Everything they did fresh. Instead of backstage interviews, which NXT does a better job than WWE anyway. It's not constantly, I'm here with Elias, and then he walks in, the crowd cheers. It's like a bunch of people with their phones and microphones to their face outside when they're leaving the arena. Like they do it in different areas, so I always found that pretty cool. It was almost more of a press conference feel than an interview.
Yeah.
But with the whole William Regal thing, it's been him interviewing people, and then EC3 says it was Lars Sullivan. Then guess what? Lars Sullivan and EC3, they're feuding. Velveteen Dream, he says it was Ciampa. Guess what? Ciampa and Velveteen are wrestling for the title. Like, they put little nuggets out there. Ono got questioned. Ono comes in, and William Regal's like, I already said it wasn't you. You have an alibi. What are you doing here? And he starts referencing his new toys and everybody getting spots. Starts up the Riddle and him thing. Even the Nikki Cross.
Yep.
I could not think of her last name last time. Nikki Cross. That was excellent. It was so awesome. And she, the thing they did perfectly with her character is it got all over the internet that, hey, it might be Ono. Because of Ono's new attitude. They might actually have it be Ono. So what did they do? They had Nikki Cross walk up to Ono when he was talking about Matt Riddle and saying, I know what you did. And I felt like that was them saying, like, all right, we see people predicting this. We're going to go along with it. We're going to make you think, hey, it might have actually been him. And then it made sense from the beginning to be Gargano. He was the obvious one, even more than Ciampa, because of his desperation for the title, his desperation to beat Ciampa.
They ran the angle after Ciampa won the title, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, and this is the other thing that NXT does so well too. Like, Gargano's not really he's the heel in this, but he's not a heel. His motives make sense. It's like, okay, this seems logical. It's it's not the right thing to do, but he's not bashing the audience. He did that a taped promo, And he's like, I've always been honest with the NXT audience. Here's the reason why I did it. And it's like, yeah, he has been. Like, he's not, like, shitting on the audience or anything like that. Yeah. This is, yeah, I'm very excited for this match. So who do you got winning?
I got Aleister Black. I almost talked myself into Gargano. Like, I actually wrote it down this time instead of going off my head. Yeah. And I actually almost switched this one. It's such a coin flip. It's such a coin flip. It's one of those things. Aleister Black was on such a streak, and then to be a part of this storyline, it was the whole Gargano kicking Black, and Ciampa wins and all that stuff, and he did it by accident. It was so set up that I feel like Black not being there for a while, he needs the win, but Gargano's needed the win now for a while, you know. I think it's going to end up being Black. Do I think he should win it? Probably not. I think Gargano should, but I think Black will.
I am in agreement with that. I think Black's going to win. It's the only. I'm like talking myself out of it. The only way I see Gargano winning is a cheap, like a roll up or something like that, like a really cheap victory. Somehow, maybe Candice LeRae gets involved or something like that. That's the only way I see Gargano winning, but I don't know.
They can finally run the storyline, and I did not say this last time. This is something different. They can finally run the storyline of Candice turning on Gargano.
Oh, no,
Candice can come out, Gargano can get pissed off and be like, that's not the way I wanted to win, stuff like that. And then eventually you find out Ciampa's been, like, playing her like a fiddle. You know what I mean? Like, if they want to stretch out the Ciampa-Gargano thing, let's say for WrestleMania, let's say that's when Gargano finally wins the title and Ciampa holds on to it till then. If that's how this comes out to be, that's a way to further the storyline a little bit and let it be a little fresh.
Yeah. So, do they want to get their predictions in, Mike?
The kids?
Yeah.
She's saying she's thirsty. Hold on, what?
Okay. Okay, I'll talk about, this match is, I'm excited for it. I don't know if this is going to be the match of the night or anything like that, but I think from a Peachy prediction standpoint, I think that, who do I think? I think Peachy's going to pick Gargano.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he likes Aleister Black. I think I might have picked Aleister Black before, but I
think he does. But I think go Gargano just because we've seen him. You know what? Now I'm changing that. I'm going Black. I think he's going to pick Black. Let's go. Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane. 2 out of 3 falls.
Good.
Okay. You want me to go first?
Start the first one. So.
Yeah, I say. I don't know who's going to win this one. I say Kairi Sane. I just I think they changed the title at Evolution so that they could have a title change, and they didn't want to change any of the main titles. So this was the only other title on the card, so it gives a title change on the pay-per-view. And now that it's back, Kairi Sane's going to somehow win, and Shayna Baszler, I think she's kind of ready for the main roster, and she'll be coming up soon. I've said this like the last 3 takeovers, I think, but I think it's time. But I think Kairi Sane is going to win. It's going to be a 2-1, 2 falls to 1. I don't think it's going to go like 2-0 or anything like that. So, what do you got? Right. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts?
Well, obviously I'm going Shayna Baszler.
Okay.
I think the only time I ever picked Kairi Sane was to win the Evolution match, and then Shayna broke my heart by winning, even though I wanted her to win. I think the moment this was made 2 out of 3 falls, it was going to be Shayna. I can't see them making any realistic way that Kairi Sane wins 2 out of 3. I mean, if you want to go really out there for a way for her to win, it'll be a disqualification and a roll-up for her to get her victories, for Kairi Sane. Or an even further out there one. And I never remember their names because they're not on TV enough. The other 2 of the 4 horsewomen.
Jasmine Duke and I forget the other one.
Yeah, the one that's with Roderick Strong. But either way, them 2.
I didn't realize that she was with that. That was the one who was with Roderick Strong.
Yeah. So, if they turn on Baszler, I don't see it happening because that would almost essentially turn Baszler good, and I don't see that happening. But I can see her feuding with one or two of them. Them saying we've been sitting in the background of Rousey and Baszler this whole time. When's our time kind of thing.
Yeah.
But even if that happens, I just think that's a stretch. So I can't realistically see Baszler losing this match. So I'm gonna say Baszler.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Zayn just because, like I said, I think it was just a match to have a title change at the pay-per-view, and they're gonna give it back to Kairi Sane.
Right.
Because I don't think there's anybody else that can really take it off her. Like if Shayna Baszler, like Kairi Sane doesn't get it, who else is gonna come in and take it off her?
Well, if they keep Duke and I wish I looked up the other one. Yeah. If they keep them down while she moves up, they could always play a whole NWO.
But you could. Here's the thing, though. Too, I'll flip that the other way. Is that Kairi Sane wins and feuds with them, like as Shayna Baszler goes up to the main roster, they're back down here trying to gain retribution for Kairi Sane beating her for the title or something like that. Could have something like that. I don't
know. I'm always so hot and cold with Kairi Sane. So I think that I know a lot of people love her. That elbow is amazing, and I'll give her that. But the gimmick doesn't do it for me.
Oh, I love the gimmick because
the gimmick doesn't do it for me.
The gimmick is why I love wrestling, because the minute someone asks why is she dressed like a pirate, and I go, I don't know. It's just what she does.
She's the pirate princess.
I know, but it's I don't know. But
the only thing that was cool was when the title belt was sitting out in the treasure box, like right after she won it, and she walked out and opened it up, and the title was in there. That was cool. Yeah. I'll say that was cool. But I don't get the gimmick. Other than the elbow, I don't get her. I don't get the intrigue in her that much. And I think the moment she moves up, she's going to get completely lost in the shuffle.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
Where a person like Baszler, I think, is going to stand out.
Like, look at what they did with Asuka. When Asuka's lost now in the shuffle. And that's sad.
Well, you need to be able to talk, too, and that's the problem. That's the problem with any foreign-born wrestler that has broken English. It's tough. It's tough for them. I mean, you even see a guy like Nakamura. It's just tough. They need him to talk too much on the main roster, and he just can't.
Yeah. So, who do you think Peachy's going to pick? I'm saying he's picking Kairi Sane.
I think he's going Baszler.
Okay. I just don't. I didn't think he liked her.
I think I remember like one of the last couple times he's picked her. That's the only reason I'm going with it.
NXT Championship match: Velveteen Dream versus Tommaso Ciampa.
Ciampa.
You got Ciampa.
I can't. First of all, I can't go against Ciampa. Second of all, I feel like this match was thrown in there purely because they were going to do the Gargano Black thing. Velveteen Dream really didn't fit into the War Games match, and it sounded better than EC3 against Ciampa or Lars Sullivan against Ciampa.
I would have liked EC3. I think Dream's going to win. I forget what I said when we last did this, but yeah. I was thinking Dream's going to win. I think it's like just because I think it's easier to have him as a champion than to have Ciampa as a champion, just because I'm thinking maybe EC3 is coming up possibly. Or, well, I don't know.
But now you have Ciampa and you still have Black and Gargano down there, which two of them have legit claims to wanting the title. So now you have two guys against Ciampa. That makes more sense.
Or they could do a Fatal 4-Way. You could do a Fatal 4-Way at your next TakeOver if you have Dream win. Have all of them playing. I just don't.
I'm pretty sure I said this last time. How we kind of talked about Ono, and I don't feel like Dream's going to be down there forever, but he's still young.
Yeah.
And I feel like when he wins the title, and I said the same thing, Gargano and Dream, I feel like are both going to win a title the same way. Whether Dream wins the North American or the championship, the NXT championship, I feel like it's got to be either at SummerSlam or WrestleMania. It's got to feel like a bigger pay-per-view. And that's not going to be the main event of this. It's not. The War Games match is. Well, so that's not going to be the main event. Having Velveteen win this
But I think
when everybody was all like, ooh, Velveteen, I want to see him beat Ricochet, but he didn't. You know, like any of these big matches, for the most part, he has not really come through. You know, he has shown a lot, and that's great, but he just I don't know. I just don't see him. I feel like this is kind of just a filler opponent for Ciampa.
That's what I could just see him. I see him winning because it's not the main event. And so he doesn't have to be that main event, like, even though I think he is, like, it's not, yeah, I'm just sticking with Dream. Who do you think Peachy has winning? There's a right answer for this.
It's Velveteen.
Okay, that's why, there's a right answer for that. He loves Velveteen Dream.
I think he would pick Ciampa against most people.
Yes.
But I think Velveteen, Velveteen's got to be it for him.
Okay, and let's go to the namesake match, the War Games match. Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Roderick Strong versus War Machine. Or what's the War Raiders? Is that it's War Raiders.
The Oakland Raiders.
The Oakland Raiders. John Gruden, Marshawn Lynch. No, we got War Raiders, Ricochet. I forget what their new name is. I just know them as War. Yeah, I know them as War Machine.
Raiders, Ricochet, and Pete Dunne.
Yes.
I'll get that out since you can't.
Thank you. I'm going with Undisputed Era. I think they are setting up, and that War Games match is going to be their match. So,
and I will repeat what I said last episode. Well, the first time we recorded this, not last episode. I don't see them winning because I feel like if they're running along with, hey, we've won it, that means they also got to compete in next year's War Games. Because why the hell not? You can't have the same team win it twice and not compete in it again. And I don't know that Adam Cole's still going to be down there by next War Games. But I see War Raiders, Ricochet, and Pete Dunne winning the match. And then I see a turn. And we talked about this. And I see it either being Bobby Fish or Roderick Strong. Most likely Roderick Strong. I see him losing the match. Roderick Strong costing the match. And then them turning on him. Because I feel like Roderick Strong was only in there because of Bobby Fish getting hurt. That's the only reason why they did what they did. And now it's run its course. Bobby Fish is back.
Yeah.
So I feel like you're going to see some type of turn. And I know you said this last time that, but the four of them, it's the right. Yeah, I don't see it. I see them turning on them, and then Bobby Fish basically claiming the title, and then Roderick Strong kind of saying, no, they're my titles, and then it kind of, it's a way to keep the War Raiders off the titles for a little bit, because once they have them, they're going to be dominant. It's going to be like Ascension, AOP type of dominance, I know AOP didn't really dominate with them, but they always try to keep those big teams away from the titles for a while, because then how do you justify them losing?
Yeah, it's way too easy it's way too hard, or it's the same thing with these, monster teams. They'll lose via some weird way or something like that.
Yeah, a triple threat match and they didn't even get pinned for the titles kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a way to keep the War Raiders out of the title picture, where you have kind of O'Reilly saying they're my titles, you didn't even win them, and Roderick Strong saying, no, we won them back, they're mine, that he finds a partner, and I don't know, but I have a feeling, I just have a weird feeling that somebody is getting eliminated from the Undisputed Era for costing them the match.
Fair enough. So who do you think Peachy's going to pick?
Ricochet.
Yeah, I was saying the War Raiders too. The War Raiders team.
I don't even know if it's the team. I just think it's Ricochet.
So here's something we didn't ask last time, and I think this is a good question we should start asking. What do you think is going to be the match of this card? Match of the night?
Now that I've seen they're going to give it time, I'm going to go Baszler Zane.
Alrighty.
I'm going to go Baszler Zane.
Alrighty, I will.
Their matches have been good. I wouldn't say any of them's been great. They've been good. I love the way they had Sane win the title, because it was so quick. It was it was essentially Baszler made a mistake, not that Sane won. So I'm interested to see how they're going to do it. I hope there's not a lot of interference. I hope they let them actually wrestle. But yeah, I'm going to go with that. It's probably a little bit of surprise, but I'm going to go with that to be the match of the night.
I'm taking the cheap way out. I think it's going to be the War Games match. I was thinking like Gargano Black. I was like, that could be, but I'm like, I don't know how the story's going to go, and like wonky. I don't know. Dream Ciampa. It could be good, but again, I don't exactly know. I just think the story is going to take the War Games match and make that, I think, to me, match of the night.
I will say one thing, though. I expect Ciampa to do one thing that we have not seen him do.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know what it is. I'm saying, like, I expect him to kind of try to upstage Dream. Like, do something off the top rope, some crazy thing that we're not used to seing him do.
I'd say he's going to do the DIY kick. Like when they would kind of pull their hands in together. Like he'll reference Gargano through the match. So, alrighty. So that is NXT TakeOver War Games. I am excited for that.
Yeah,
I am. I actually think I'll be home Saturday night. Home Saturday night to watch it. I'll see if my mom wants to watch it with me. So, let's move to the reason for the season, as they say. The reason why we had to re-record this episode of Apron Work Podcast with Cha Boys. The main Survivor Series card. So, what matches do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about all the Survivor Series matches and then the champion versus... Well, let's knock this one out of the way.
Yeah,
Buddy Murphy versus Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, this is going to be a quick one.
Yeah, well, I think this is going to be a really good match, but again, all of the cruiserweight matches they're constantly good. So, I don't think it's going to be anything special, but it is going to be really good. I think Murphy ends up winning.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the same thing. You had a reason for picking Murphy.
I did,
and then it talked me into it. Yeah,
what's
you
my
said
reason?
Something about Cedric Alexander on 205 Live.
Oh yeah, Cedric Alexander. They're kind of starting to tease a heel turn with him against Mustafa Ali. Before we even get more into it, I think Survivor Series. I don't think this changed. I think it's gonna have a lot of wonky finishes. Interferences, all that kind of stuff, to where
you did say wonky a lot.
I did it. Well, I did. So it's definitely going to happen. But yeah, I don't know if Cedric Alexander gets involved with this match, but I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I think Buddy Murphy's going to end up winning. Who do you think Peachy's going to pick?
Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, just because he didn't realize he had a first name last time.
Yeah.
At WrestleMania.
And I don't think he knows who Buddy Murphy is. So.
No. So, what do you want to talk about? The Survivor Series matches?
Let's get that. Yeah, let's go. Let's go tag team women's men's.
Fair enough. Matches. So the tag team match I think they announced was on the pre-show, and let me actually just pull it up real fast just to make sure I know all of the competitors.
I can go over it if you want me to. I have them right in front of me.
Oh, you do? Perfect. All right, so go over...
Yeah, I actually have all of them right in front of me right now. I'm actually prepared for this. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I had NXT up. You asshole. Put on a shirt.
Okay. You were not supposed to reference that.
Oh, well, it's hard not to. It's like WrestleMania 32 weekend all over again. Did I mention that in our in our WrestleMania 32?
That you see me in my boxers way.
Did I mention that?
Than you wanted to. Yes, you
did. Okay, good. I just want to make sure.
There goes a preview for that episode. If you had not listened to that and you're listening to this,
yes,
Walton talks about me and my boxers.
Yes.
So the Raw team is Lucha House Party, which I did not realize there was 3 of them. That shows how much I watch any of this. It says Kalisto,
Lindsay Dorado.
Lindsay and Graham Metalik. Maybe I won't read these guys' names. Just read the Revival, the Ascension, the B Team, and Chad Gable and Bobby Roode, which are also your captains. Then we have the captains of the SmackDown team, the Usos, the New Day, Sanity, the Colognes, and the Good Brothers, which there is a lot of 3-man teams in this. So we'll see who actually wrestles for any of these teams.
Do we really care?
No, not really. It's the kickoff match. Most of the people walking into the stadium won't even get in there for this, let alone the people watching it at home. But I'm going to go with SmackDown purely because of the Usos, the New Day, and Sanity are probably, other than the Revival, they're the three best teams in there. Mm-hmm. So I think it's tough to defend Raw winning it, unless they make it a joke, which, to be honest with you, is probably going to become a joke because Chad Gable, Bobby Roode, and the B Team are in it. So,
and the Colognes.
I'm still, yeah, but I was talking about on the Raw side, like why the Raw team might win a joke match, because the SmackDown team, other than the Colognes, is not a joke.
No. I'm
going to go SmackDown, and since we did not do this last time, we did it at the end. We'll do it as we do the matches. I expect SmackDown to win, and I'm going to switch what I did earlier. I'm going to go with the Usos and Sanity being the ones left, which this is more for fun for us. This will not be a point or anything like that. But I originally had the Usos and the New Day, and I'm going to go with the Usos and Sanity. I think the Usos are going to be there, but I think this is going to be one of those matches. It's not just going to be a sole survivor. So I'm going to go with Sanity with them.
I'm torn on who I want to say Usos and the New Day are going to be your sole survivors. But since it's not counting for points, the Good Brothers.
Yeah, well, fuck that.
Yeah, but it's also like I think like they can do something with them. Yeah. Like that's the thing. Like they are in need of tag teams, and the Good Brothers I think are something you can do with a tag team with, which I still don't get how they haven't yet or.
And
whatever.
If there's any of these Survivor Series matches where like the sole survivor is going to be meaningless, it's going to be the tag team one on the kickoff show.
Yeah.
So they can just throw like the Good Brothers at the end just for the fan reaction because it's going to be meaningless.
Where's it at?
It's not going to lead to anything.
It's in LA. It's in the Staples Center. So nobody's going to know who they are.
Exactly.
So, who do you have Peachy winning, and why is it Kofi?
Yes, Kofi. Kofi wins this. Not SmackDown, just Kofi.
Yeah,
Kofi. If Ricochet's going to win War Games, not with teammates, just by himself, and then Kofi's going to win SmackDown.
Yeah.
Survivor Series tag match.
Yep, I got the same thing for Peachy. All right, the Women's Survivor Series match. So I will read this one because this was, again, one of the reasons why we had to change this up. Is you have Mickie James, Nia Jax, Tamina, and Natalya and Ruby Riott on Team Raw versus Team SmackDown of Carmella, Naomi, Sonya Deville, Asuka, and TBD. That fifth person was Charlotte, but we will discuss that later.
Well, as of Tuesday, it was not Charlotte. It was still TBD.
Wasn't?
We were guessing it was Charlotte. Yes, this was the one we still didn't know. They had referenced it, and you said it was going to be one or the other, and I actually predicted something else was going to happen, if you remember correctly.
I don't.
Which I know you don't, because you thought Charlotte was actually named in the match. So, now I expect something else to happen. I don't think this changed that match at all. I think they were going to tease that it was going to be Charlotte, and Charlotte was still unsure, and that it was going to lead to something else happening. That I think they kind of foreshadowed a little bit on Raw. And I guess since I'm talking, I might as well finish my thought.
Yeah, I would like that.
I expect it to be probably Sasha Banks.
On SmackDown?
Yeah, I expect Sasha Banks or Bayley to make the jump because didn't the Raw team remember they were supposed to fight for the spot? They were supposed to fight for that last spot, and then Alexa Bliss came out and said it's going to be Ruby Riott.
Yeah, but I don't get how you're going to get them over to SmackDown.
A
trade?
Across the street. No, she'll just show up. She'll just show up and be like, I'm on their team now.
Alrighty.
I expected them to somehow help SmackDown win. I'm picking SmackDown to win.
Okay.
I expected them to be some way, shape, or form involved in this match, and I still wouldn't doubt. I think right now it sets it up even more. First of all, you're using like real world, real life logic here. I'm talking WWE logic. All right.
Yeah, that's true. I gotta give you credit.
Yeah.
You're thinking like the man.
Yes.
And so we're not talking about Becky Lynch.
We'll find out that Sasha Banks' contract for Raw actually ended Saturday night, and nobody knew about it.
Yeah.
And she signed a new deal with SmackDown. So, but I have a weird feeling. I'm going to say Sasha Banks ends up on SmackDown.
I'm assuming with that being said, is Sasha Banks going to be your sole survivor?
No.
Oh, okay.
Which is going to make it even funnier. I'm going to stick with I think I said. No, you know what? I'll go unknown member as my sole survivor.
Okay,
how about that?
TBD is going to be...
it could be anybody. I don't want to solidify. I know it's just for fun. I don't want to solidify that it has to be Sasha Banks. I'm going to say unknown member is their sole survivor.
Fair enough.
TBD.
I'm going with Raw. Going the opposite side. Nia Jax has a title shot against Ronda Rousey coming up. So I think it makes sense for her to win, but I think it's going to be her and Tamina, especially with the way they were tag teaming at Evolution. So I got them. Again, I think this is going to be kind of a... My only concern about this match is that they put it on last. I don't think it's that great of a match for a Survivor Series match to be put on last, but just with the way they've been pushing kind of all the women's stuff, like I could see this going on last just because...
You think it'll be the last match of the night?
It's possible with the way they've been pushed, like how they've been pushing the women, but I don't think it deserves to be.
I mean, wouldn't it? And I would have said this about Rousey and Lynch, but doesn't it make more sense for it to be Rousey and Charlotte? It's still pushing women with actually having.
But then it's also you put your Survivor Series match on last. I don't know for sure, but I just see Nia and Tamina winning. Who do you think Peachy has?
SmackDown.
Yeah, same here.
He says Asuka is the last one left.
Yeah, I hate to say, I'm not just trying to agree with you. It's just that,
we know Peachy.
Yeah, we know Peachy really well. So let me finish. So, alrighty. So now the men's Survivor Series match. So, is this a TBD still?
No.
Oh, no, they did fill the blank. Okay, I didn't realize they did fill the blank. So, Team Raw is Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, and Bobby Lashley. Against Team SmackDown, Miz, Shane McMahon, Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe, and Jeff Hardy took the spot of Daniel Bryan. Because Daniel Bryan is now your WWE champion.
Now, does this change your prediction? Because people did not hear your prediction, but
yours
had to do with The Miz and Daniel Bryan.
My original prediction had Team SmackDown winning, with The Miz and Bryan being the sole survivors, because I thought they were angling towards those guys kind of being like a team, or just something with those two going forward being the sole survivors. Yes, this stuff, I don't know. This is the first I'm seeing that Jeff Hardy is the replacement.
It got announced on SmackDown.
Did it? I didn't watch SmackDown. I just saw some of the.
I just read the results.
Yeah, I didn't I just saw the highlights from it. Yeah, I'm going Team Raw. With Daniel Bryan not in there in The Miz, I think it just messes up that storyline. I don't think any of these guys. The only guy in this group is Samoa Joe that I could even consider being a winner and actually helping push something. But at least on the Raw side, you have a lot of options there, and I could think I'm going probably Drew McIntyre and maybe Braun Strowman are your sole survivors.
Okay.
Just because they have a feud about to happen, I think it kind of possibly could make sense for them to win, but you know what? I'm changing. I'm just going Drew McIntyre. I think they're back to pushing McIntyre to the moon, and I'm just going straight Drew McIntyre for it.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to change my survivor from what I said initially, but I'm going to stick with Raw. I had Raw from the beginning, you kind of made me regret it with the way you talked about the whole Miz Daniel Bryan thing, but I actually expect to see some type of finish in that match with Raw, and I expect to see it with Ziggler and McIntyre. I think you're going to see kind of Lashley and Balor take each other out. Braun Strowman's going to do something to get himself disqualified and just laugh, and it's going to be 5-on-2 with SmackDown or something like that. And then you're just going to see McIntyre and Ziggler just run rampant down the SmackDown team. Then you have a scared Shane McMahon in there, and Ziggler's laughing because Shane McMahon beat Ziggler in the
because Shane McMahon is the best in the world.
Yeah, the best in the world, the Crown Jewel tournament. And then I see Ziggler tagging to McIntyre. McIntyre comes in, and then Ziggler turns on McIntyre, lets Shane McMahon beat him, and then Ziggler beats Shane McMahon. So then Ziggler can say he's the sole survivor. And then it's going to keep McIntyre out of the title picture a little bit. You know? It'll keep McIntyre because now he's going to feud with Ziggler a little bit. You know? And it's going to be a whole McIntyre, Strowman, Ziggler kind of trio thing.
So you're saying Raw wins with Ziggler as the sole survivor?
Yes.
Wow. So does
him turning on McIntyre.
Does that possibly then put Ziggler as one of the best Survivor Series? Because then this would be the second time he is a sole survivor.
No.
He did it in, I think, was it 2014 when Sting came out? Yeah, I think that's what it was. And I thought so. Ziggler was getting pushed to the moon with that, but nothing happened there.
I think it's more storyline purposes. I can see, with him and McIntyre kind of officially breaking, letting McIntyre go off on his own.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just don't see SmackDown how they could possibly win this match.
Especially now.
Yeah, before, and we did this, and I even said I could see the way WWE logic, I could see Shane McMahon even winning this. There was one person on this whole thing that had zero chance of being a sole survivor.
Rey Mysterio.
Or any survivor, and it's Rey Mysterio. And now I go with Rey Mysterio. And you know what? Jeff Hardy still has a small possibility. So yes, Rey Mysterio is the only person in this match still that has zero shot. There is no chance. If he's the sole survivor, then I quit. And it has nothing to do with him. It just doesn't make any sense.
No, not at all.
If this was happening in Saudi Arabia, okay. Maybe I understand Rey Mysterio. If it's happening in another country, I understand. Because a lot of people know Rey Mysterio. I understand it. There is zero chance. It wouldn't make sense. Unless SmackDown has 5 people left at the end of this match, it does not make any sense. So...
yeah, that's sound logic. Who you got, Peachy? I got Peachy picking Raw, and I'm just gonna say Ziggler as the sole survivor, just because. Or no, I'm gonna say Finn Balor.
I think if Peachy was here, he would say Braun Strowman.
Okay, I know who he is.
But what he would say is, Shane McMahon will do something crazy.
Yeah.
That would have been like the epitome of Peachy's input for this episode. I bet you Shane McMahon does something crazy, like jumps off the one rope to the other side of the ring, like he hasn't done that in every match that he's ever been in.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of technical difficulties with this. Yeah, this is pretty funny. I got my mic disconnected, and then I forgot to tell Mike when to count down correctly and all that fun stuff. So let's jump right back.
And then my recording started recording over my old stuff. It was nice.
Yeah, so this is a banner episode. We just got finished talking to Men's Survivor Series. I have Raw winning Drew McIntyre, sole survivor. You have Raw winning Ziggler. I have Raw winning for Peachy with Balor. You have Raw winning with Peachy for Braun.
You do realize that they're going to hear all this, and then 2 seconds later, you're going to say, sorry for the technical difficulties. Then you're going to run over what we just talked about.
I forget where I know the time. I don't know what exactly we were talking about. So just to go over. But let's jump into the championship matches. So let's talk probably the least interesting one of the bunch, AOP versus The Bar.
Right.
I got AOP winning. I don't think I think like them getting the titles just like last week, 2 weeks ago, or something like that. It doesn't make any sense for them to lose this early. So I say AOP's winning that one.
And I'm going with the Bar. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. I figure Raw's going to win the night. They're going to win it 4-3. And for SmackDown to get its third win, they have to win this match. So that's literally the only reason why I have the Bar winning. So SmackDown gets its third win.
Fair enough. I say Peachy picks the Bar.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Alrighty. So this it's either this or the women's match might be my match of the night for this pay-per-view. But
it'll be the women's match.
Yeah, I know.
Afterwards, you'll be saying the women's match. Right now, this is most people's match of the night.
Because it is one of those dream matches. Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm excited for it. I'm hoping... My biggest hope is that the Nakamura that we knew from New Japan comes out. Or even the Nakamura from NXT. But because if he does, this match could be incredible. Again, I think it's going to have an odd finish, and I say Nakamura's winning. And I say that because I say Dean Ambrose is going to come down and interfere and cost Seth Rollins the match, and that will set up a IC title match between Rollins and Ambrose down the line. But I'm saying because of that, Nakamura is going to end up winning.
All right. It's funny, and I actually think I said in the first episode that I picked Seth Rollins purely because I thought Raw was going to win 4 matches. I think I had more of a reason of picking the Bar last time, but I'm still going to go with Seth Rollins. I actually think it's going to be a really good match. I know everybody was hyped over AJ and Nakamura when that was going to happen, but Seth, I don't know what it is about his matches. They hardly ever disappoint. And not to say that AJ Styles does, but AJ Styles Nakamura, like, you know what it is? I think because it was so overhyped. And not to say this isn't hyped, but there's not enough time to overhype it yet because these matches just got announced like 2 weeks ago. So I think from that, you don't have the chance. And honestly, Rousey, Becky Lynch overshadowed it. You know, AJ Styles possibly beating Brock Lesnar this time around overshadowed it up until this point. So the fact that there's not as much pressure on this as there possibly was on the other matches with Nakamura, I see this. I see this turning out really well. Probably not to certain people's standards. You know, I think you're expecting a lot out of it. There are a lot of people expecting a lot out of it, but because I don't think the pressure of this doing well for the night to do well, I think it's going to be better than probably we've seen out of Styles and Nakamura.
I agree with that. Who do you think Peachy has? I think Peachy's picking Nakamura.
Yeah, I'd say
just because we've seen him, we've talked about him enough. I think Peachy has Nakamura. Is more of a Nakamura mark than that. So, what do you want to talk first, men or women?
We gotta go men again. We main evented the first try around with the women, and now it's a completely different women's match.
Yeah, they're both different. Now. So, Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is your WWE champion. How about the fact that it seems like this is getting overshadowed? Daniel Bryan won your WWE championship in a heel move, kicked AJ Styles in the nuts, and won the title, and then beat down Styles after the match. So Daniel Bryan heel turn is in progress. But Daniel Bryan, like a year ago, we would have not have been I never thought, okay, Daniel Bryan's going to win the WWE championship again. Never in a million years. And he beat AJ Styles for it. AJ Styles had over a year run. I thought he was going to beat Lesnar's mark for longest. I thought he was going to hold the title to SummerSlam, or not SummerSlam, I'm sorry, WrestleMania, honestly.
Right.
But I see now this changes. So originally I had AJ Styles winning against Lesnar with interference from Braun. Now I don't know what to pick, because you could still have that happen. Daniel Bryan win with interference from Braun Strowman, but now AJ Styles isn't even on your card for Survivor Series. How is I could see Daniel Bryan winning because of Styles interference, but also Daniel Bryan losing because of AJ Styles interference.
Now there was something about this Styles thing. He also got removed from the Mixed Match Challenge.
He did?
Yep, the same night Jeff Hardy replaced him. Jeff Hardy's now teaming up with Charlotte on the Mixed Match Challenge.
But that kind of makes sense because the Mixed Match Challenge happens right after SmackDown, and AJ Styles just got beat up to go into...
Yeah, but they don't further any storyline in the Mixed Match Challenge. The Mixed Match Challenge is
it is
separated.
It is, but you can't, there's no way you could even legitimately have AJ Styles get beat.
But he permanently replaced him in it. It's not like he just replaced him in one match.
Oh, it was a permanent replacement?
I'm pretty sure it's a permanent replacement.
Okay.
That's the thing. So a lot of people are speculating that, one, he's either injured, and that's why you did this quick thing, or two, which, God, I hope not, he's some type of performance wellness program.
Oh, God, no.
I would think not, but think about it, though. If he just got replaced in this match, he's not on the card. He didn't replace Bryan in the Survivor Series match. Hardy did. And then now he's being replaced in the Mixed Match Challenge with no, explanation of it.
Well, they did say, so there was a report I saw online that Daniel Bryan has been pushing to go heel, and Vince was going to give him the title, so he wanted both to happen at the same time. Right. So that's kind of why Bryan didn't turn heel first and then won the title down the line. They just pulled the trigger. I don't think it's any actual injury. I don't think it's any performance. Listen, it came out of nowhere. This came out of nowhere.
But you have to attach the Mixed Match Challenge thing with it. Why'd they take him out of that?
I think just because I think it's too... I don't know, because you're right. Because when Becky speared Charlotte speared Becky through the video board to open up, the Mixed Match Challenge that night had her smiling and giggling with Styles, and nothing happened.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's the only thing that it's a head scratcher, because now part of me thinks, and I had this feeling before, and it if Peachy was here, he'd be calling him a filthy casual.
Meltzer.
He put something about how they have nothing for Bryan right around the time when Daniel Bryan said he wasn't going to Saudi Arabia. Now, I had a weird feeling that Bryan was supposed to win that match.
Which match?
In Saudi Arabia. I had a weird feeling he was supposed to win it. And they had him lose on SmackDown because Bryan wasn't going to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that makes perfect
So they
sense.
needed to set up another match. How are you not going to have your champion in Saudi Arabia? So Styles had to win it, to kind of just to have a championship match there because they knew Bryan wasn't going. So part of me is just wondering if this was all supposed to happen in Saudi Arabia, and that's why it seems so rushed right now, because Saudi Arabia just happened,
Yeah.
And it just seems so out of nowhere, because I feel like it was supposed to happen. There was supposed to be lead up to it on that SmackDown where they had the title match instead, and then Daniel Bryan lost. I still have a weird feeling this is going to lead to a Miz-Bryan WrestleMania match. Which I know with a Bryan heel, it makes it interesting, because the Miz is never going to be a face. Unless you pull the whole Gargano, he did it, Miz pushed him to it kind of thing.
Yeah, it's weird. It's interesting too, because I am scared because of how Lesnar is,
that's the worst part about this. Where if Styles is not hurt, they could have waited and done this after Survivor Series with Daniel Bryan's heel turn.
Yeah,
how do you go into this thinking it's a good idea?
I don't know. I really don't know.
You think Brock Lesnar's going to take it easy on Daniel Bryan? You think Daniel Bryan's going to tell Brock Lesnar to take it easy on him?
No way.
They can tell them whatever the fuck they want backstage. The moment they get in that ring, Daniel Bryan's going to tell them to launch them as far as he can.
Yeah.
And Brock Lesnar's going to oblige. Why the hell wouldn't he?
Yeah, Lesnar doesn't care.
Yeah. So now, even if they're friends, let's say Lesnar respects Bryan more than anybody else in the back. Let's say that.
He's going to be...
The moment he gets out in the ring, but the whole purpose of him being there is to look like a monster. Yeah. You think he's going to go out there and, like, gently put him down? No, he's going to fucking launch him and try to hit his neck. That's what he was doing to Cena.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, Cena told him, just keep doing it. This looks nasty. And he was trying, almost looked like he was trying to break his neck. Dude, the first moment Daniel Bryan falls on his head, the refs are going to fucking run to the ring.
Did you see Lesnar do the suplex to one of the Singh brothers?
To one of the Singh brothers, dude, yes.
Like,
and it's just, unless this is like Vince's way of saying, like, we told you not to come back, asshole. Like, this is all a ploy to just have Lesnar beat the fuck out of Daniel Bryan and not have anybody stop it. That's why they did it like a couple days out. Like, Vince is like, I told you to stay retired, damn it. And he's sitting there and just lets Brock Lesnar beat the fuck out of him for 10 minutes. Brock Lesnar's going to win. I mean, let's get on the prediction side of this. Brock Lesnar's going to win, and it's going to look nasty. And I want to see it because I just want to see it. And not that I want to see Daniel Bryan get hurt, but to be honest with you, a lot of people are Brock Lesnar haters. I don't fall in that category. I hate that he's not around.
I hate that he has the title. That's my biggest problem.
I still think he brings attention to them.
He does. It's just that when you have...
I still think he's good for viewership. Maybe not from hardcore fans, but from the casual fan, I think he's good. I wish he showed up a little bit more, just a little bit. I don't need a whole lot of him. I like the whole he's a main attraction, stuff like that. It usually gets more Paul Heyman when he's not there, which you always gotta love. But I love going into a night like this where I don't want to see a good match. I want to see how far Lesnar launches him. I want to see how abusive Lesnar actually is to him in the middle of the ring.
Oh, God, that's scary.
And then I want to pray that he does not have a concussion or a broken neck at the end of this match. But I just want to see it. I just want to see it. I'm going to watch this purposely, hoping and not hoping for an injury at the same time.
With all of that being said, and to where I agree with you on a lot of those items, I'm saying Daniel Bryan's winning.
The same way style?
Similar, some sort of interference. I don't know how now. Like, I don't know how the interference is going to happen. Hell, you could legitimately turn this into a tag team match. Like, if you really wanted to. Styles and Bryan versus Braun and Lesnar, if you wanted to. Because it's Raw versus SmackDown still. But somehow Daniel Bryan, I think, is going to end up winning by some sort of disqualification, interference, something weird is going to happen during this match.
Daniel Bryan is the new Paul Heyman guy. Daniel Bryan's going to go in there and he's just going to lay down and let Lesnar win. And then Styles is going to come out, and then Lesnar and Daniel Bryan are going to beat the hell out of Styles. And then Strowman comes out and tries to help Styles, and that leads the next pay-per-view tag team match.
God.
There you go.
Oh, God.
Daniel Bryan is your new Paul Heyman guy.
Last time when we attempted to record this, it was way too early. It's way too late now in the night to be listening to stuff like that. So,
tell me you couldn't see Survivor Series finishing that way.
Who do you think Peachy has winning? I say Peachy has Daniel Bryan winning.
I think he goes Lesnar.
You got Lesnar for him? Alrighty.
On to our main event.
Possibly the main event.
The main event of our episode.
Yeah, and should be the main event of this pay-per-view at this point.
It should.
Hands down. I'm upset, but after reading... I'm upset. It's Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte. Charlotte is... So, if If you didn't see Raw, Becky got punched in the face by Nia Jax legitimately, broke her nose and has a concussion. Was not cleared to wrestle at Survivor Series. On SmackDown, Becky picked her replacement and picked Charlotte Flair as her replacement. So the match that I've been saying all along was going to headline WrestleMania 35 is happening at Survivor Series with barely any build-up in Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte. I'm upset about this. I wish they would have picked Asuka. I think this would have been a good time for Asuka to build her more up, back up as a badass, and like still be able to lose and give Rousey credit, but without kind of playing your hand or showing your hand with the Rousey Charlotte match. This actually screws up the rest of my year in wrestling because I had Charlotte winning the Rumble.
Now, do you think it can still end up that way? Like
it can.
Like Charlotte Charlotte putting up a good fight, losing at the last second, and then she's just so desperate to get back at Rousey.
That can happen, but I think that takes away so much from that. It takes away so much from that WrestleMania main event attraction. It really does, and to where like it could still all happen that way, but like for me, it just takes away so much of how special I think this match could have been. Because very rarely can you have like a headlining. When was the last legitimate question? When was the last headlining match at WrestleMania that lived up to expectations of the hype and was a good wrestling match?
Oh God!
Exactly. Like the triple threat match with Bryan, Batista, and Orton. That was pretty good.
I wouldn't call that a good wrestling match, though.
A good, like, before that you had, like, and again, it's not a good wrestling match, but to me it lived up to expectations. It lived up to, like, the hype. Was Rock versus Cena. 1, not 2. Before that was I'm an asshole. Taker, Shawn Michaels. But even like that's in its own unique category at WrestleMania 26. But I don't like this match had all the makings of a first time match that could have been special. And now here's the thing. Now with all that being said, I think this is match of the night. Like I think they are going to put on a fucking banger. Charlotte is incredible in the ring. Rousey is really coming up well, and I think just being paired with an actual wrestler, kind of all the things that was going to make the Rousey-Becky match good, it definitely are here as well. So I think Rousey wins.
Now, I will say this: the one interesting thing about this night, just looking at them, has AOP and the Bar have never wrestled, right?
Correct.
Rollins and Nakamura have never wrestled.
Correct.
Lesnar and Daniel Bryan have never wrestled. And Rousey and Charlotte have never wrestled.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Lesnar and Daniel Bryan have never, because they said that was one of the matches that never happened when he retired.
Yeah, true.
Because at least Styles and Lesnar happened last year. And now you're getting all your championship matches. I mean, I don't know if Mustafa Ali and Buddy Murphy wrestled, but your 4 champion against champion matches are all first time ever. So that makes it a little bit interesting.
That is interesting.
This needed more build up. Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch had the best lead in to this pay-per-view.
Yes.
Becky Lynch was destroying her on Twitter.
She still is after the fact.
I know she is. It's so awesome.
God.
It is so awesome. Becky Lynch, other than Ciampa, and Ciampa uses Twitter like a dad, where he types out @ in people's name instead of the actual @ symbol. It's so great. It's so awesome. But Becky Lynch has been great on it. And my question to you, Walt, is, because of the intrigue in that match, Becky Lynch and Rousey, is it possible that we just seen these matches reverse? That we see Becky Lynch against Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania main event?
That's what I was going to bring up, is that's what all the reports have been saying. That's what it's going to be. Here's my... I have no issue with that. I'm excited to see that. Here's what my problem is with that. As much as I think Becky Lynch is a great wrestler, I just think the marquee match sounds so much better for your WrestleMania with Charlotte in there over Becky Lynch. Right now.
But you're talking about people who are basically comparing Becky Lynch's recent run and that blood on her face to Austin.
It is.
Now, if you continue to push her
again,
where the casual fan is like, who is this? By the time WrestleMania rolls around, if she continues to be pushed like Austin was, you're going to have casual fans know who she is. You're going to have people on Twitter saying, what the hell was she talking about? And Ronda Rousey retweeting her stuff and responding back to her. People are going to know this feud that don't know wrestling.
Okay, but look at it this way. If you're looking at WrestleMania, a casual fan that doesn't even watch wrestling, that knows Ronda Rousey. Oh, hey, did you see Ronda Rousey is fighting Ric Flair's daughter at WrestleMania?
And I understand that, but you can't have that right now. Not the first time ever.
No, exactly.
But you can have Becky Lynch. That thing got so much build up in the little time they had. That match was the most interesting match on this card. And not even close.
Rollins Nakamura, I don't want to say close. That would be the next one to me.
I'm talking about the build-up. You're talking about, they never wrestled each other. Yes. You're talking about Nakamura and Rollins, they never wrestled each other. And you would have been interested in that if 5 minutes ago I told you they're about to wrestle right now.
Yeah, that's true. I would end this
Where
podcast.
If I said Rousey and Lynch are about to wrestle right now with no lead up, no Twitter, no nothing. I said, hey, Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch are about to wrestle. You'd be interested, but not nearly as interested as Rollins Nakamura.
I would throw it on.
Not in the same way. I would
throw it on one of my second or third screens and continue our podcast.
Yeah, you'd be interested. Like, oh, that's cool. She's actually wrestling a wrestler. Ronda Rousey's actually wrestling a wrestler. That's what you would think. But now, with the Twitter stuff, that had so much build up in such a small time. Now you add in Royal Rumble. Let's say Becky Lynch has to. Let's say she has to, get rid of her title, right? Let's say she does. That they play up this injury a little bit and say she's got to be out longer than they thought. Let's say she's a surprise entrant in the women's Royal Rumble, like they do with the men's every year from somebody back from injury.
Yeah.
Let's say they hold her out into the Royal Rumble. They bring her out and she wins it. And now she gets to choose between Charlotte and Ronda Rousey.
I don't like it. Just to me,
like that build-up is better than Charlotte right now. If you keep her out, if you say this injury keeps her out, that it gives the women's Royal Rumble what you want. What you want from the men's.
Yeah.
You want a surprise injury and enter from the men every year, right? You want that. You do that with Becky Lynch this year, and she wins, and she gets to choose between the two, and she's like, "I've already beat you. I've already had that title. I want her." I never got her, and I was going to beat her. That builds up WrestleMania, that match so well, and it's already started, and it's by happenstance that it started.
I think
it's like the Aleister Black Organo feud. It's by happenstance that it happened. It's just because Nia Jax is so negligent in the ring that.
Just as a side note, that she needs to, she's caused way too many injuries. I think that she needs to.
I know some people were complaining and saying, it's just because she's a woman, people were bringing it up.
No.
I don't think so.
Lance Storm had a perfect tweet about that, where he was like, everyone gave, Bret Hart gave Seth Rollins shit for breaking Sting's neck. And even for breaking Baylor's shoulder. I forget what else was, but the men were just as equally called out as well. I agree with all that, and I think from my side, I am more you're right. I'm more excited now for the Becky Ronda match. If that's how the story is going to go, because it's a beautiful story. To me, right. I just think from looking at the overall picture of WWE as the product itself, as if I wanted to go into work right around WrestleMania season, and someone's saying, "Oh yeah, what's the main event of WrestleMania? Like, what's that? Dumb wrestling stuff. What's the main event?" It's like, "Oh, Ronda Rousey." Yeah, I know her. Yeah, she's in the main event. Oh, well, who's she fighting in there? Oh, Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair, who's that? It's like, remember Ric Flair? It's like, yeah, I know him. I know the Ric Flair song. And they're like, oh yeah, it's his daughter. First time ever. Like, Okay, that might be a little bit more intrigue. Right now, if I'm saying...
That's why you have about, 5 months to continue Becky Lynch's Stone Cold. Let her be on TV, but be injured. Let her come out on Twitter.
But my coworker...
But people don't...
Okay, go ahead.
And I get that. I get what you're talking about, your coworker. But how many people that love Ronda Rousey are following her on Twitter?
I don't know.
Just because you're not a Twitter person does not mean there's not millions of people on Twitter following her that don't watch wrestling, but they love Ronda Rousey.
Yes.
Now you start having this other wrestler just shit on her constantly, and just keep that up. Keep the Twitter feed up. Keep it up, and that'll get enough people interested in the outside. Your coworker's not going to watch WrestleMania regardless if you said it was Ric Flair coming back to fight Ronda Rousey, let alone if it was his daughter. Let's be honest. Most of those people that you need to push the whole "it's Ric Flair's daughter" is not going to watch anyway. So
here's what I'll say. Just because I don't want to, I want to go to bed. Mainly, and you want to go to work. I know you do.
Yes.
This isn't a bad spot to be in. Let's be honest.
No,
like
not at all.
Charlotte or Becky at WrestleMania main event. Like definitely Becky. If Becky's going this Austin route, love it, and it's going to just build up to a great feud. And instead of Charlotte being the first one to beat Rousey, it could be Becky.
Yeah.
Here's the only thing with that. I don't know. Like with Charlotte, I don't know if they would let Becky beat Ronda. With Charlotte,
it depends on where she is the next couple months.
Exactly.
That's what you have to see. If she does have that launch where now suddenly she's main eventing SmackDown, she's main eventing shows. And purely because she's the most interesting thing on there, which she has been, but now she's selling merchandise. Now this is happening. People want her for interviews, all that other shit. She starts becoming almost like the face of the women's division. You have her going to WrestleMania and make Ronda Rousey tap out.
You know what I'll say too, and this actually helps push more towards the horsewomen versus horsewomen match.
Yeah,
this really does.
And now suddenly, instead of Charlotte and Rousey, now you just had Becky Lynch tell Charlotte, go in there.
Well,
go in there.
Think about if Charlotte or something now gets jumped by, this would be a perfect. This would be
see. That's where Baszler losing the title would fit into all this. Baszler loses the title, and then the other three kind of come out and
they all
jump Charlotte.
It makes sense in this pay-per-view because everyone's there. So you have Bayley and Sasha come out to defend to help even the odds.
Yeah, they're not involved in a match either.
Oh, that'd be
so.
If we feed,
it would be perfect time to start that out.
It really would.
And even if that's the main event of WrestleMania, then that's great too.
Just personally, I like a one-on-one WrestleMania main event match.
Me too.
But, yeah,
me too.
If they put that on the card, that'd be good.
Well, all right, to hurry this along.
Who do you got winning? I got Rousey.
I have Ronda Rousey winning, and I have her winning in the last match. I had her beating Becky Lynch, so I don't have that changing. But I did think that Charlotte was going to end up beating Rousey at WrestleMania, kind of as a springboard off this match. Yeah. So I'm going to go the opposite way and say I think Becky Lynch is going to make Ronda Rousey tap at WrestleMania.
Interesting. Who do you think Peachy has?
I think he goes Rousey.
Yeah, I'm going to say Charlotte. I can see him just not picking Rousey just to be different. So, interesting enough, you planned your night out of who's going to win this. You have Raw winning Survivor Series, correct?
Right. Yes.
And you planned that out going in, right?
Yeah.
I also have Raw winning by accident.
4-3.
4-3. Because I have SmackDown winning the tag match, SmackDown winning Lesnar Bryan, SmackDown winning Nakamura Rollins, and then Raw winning the rest of them. And that was just me just looking at each individual match as it's on its own island, not the card as a whole. So interesting. So instead of we'll get Peachy's results or predictions, we'll let him know what's happening this weekend.
Yeah, we'll tell him what's going on, so he knows what's happening in the wrestling world.
Yep, and then with that, we'll probably end up recording live during Survivor Series, so I'm sure you'll hear.
Yeah, we'll probably figure some topic out. Maybe it'll I don't know. Maybe it'll be over all this stuff that just happened. We had so much just in SmackDown alone with the title change and everything. We'll figure some type of topic out while we're also discussing Survivor Series.
Yep. So, do you have a favorite Survivor Series, real fast, just before any stand out?
A favorite Survivor Series? My favorite match of all time is Lawler against Doink.
Oh,
when they had all the little people.
Oh, okay. It
was like Doink, Dink, Pink, and Stink or whatever.
Yeah, I know which match you're talking about. Yeah,
Charity King Lawler and all the little kings. That one stands out the most purely because it was hilarious.
It is one of my favorite pay-per-views of all times, and it just so happens to be a Survivor Series one. It was the Deadly Games tournament. Okay. It was. I remember when we had Greg on from We Podcast and We Know Things. He I don't know if it was on the podcast, but it was when we got off. He was going through a bunch of early 90s WWE pay-per-views, and he's like, "Can you think of one off the top of your head?" And that's the one, because I remember that one. It's where The Rock turned corporate, won the WWE Championship, and we thought it was going to be Mankind because Mankind was already in McMahon's pocket. It was such a fun tournament to determine the WWE champion. So. Yeah. But yeah, well, thank you everyone for listening. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Sorry for the lateness of the episode. Hopefully next time we do something like this, WWE doesn't completely throw a wrench in the card a day after we record, or not even 24 hours after we record.
Oh yeah.
12 hours. It was 12 hours. Yeah. So, hope you guys all have a good week. Peachy, we let you know this time about the podcast, so I don't feel as bad.
Decided to go to work instead.
Yeah, but with that being said, awkward sign off. We'll catch you guys next week. Have a good one, guys. Later.
We're not sorry this time, Peach.
I'm sorry, Peach.